Welcome to this video on how to balance chemical equations. In this video, I will guide you through the steps to balance chemical equations. A chemical equation is a symbolic representation of a chemical reaction. It shows the reactants on the left hand side and the products on the right hand side. Balancing chemical equations is important because it ensures that the law of conservation of mass is followed. Today, I will guide you to balance chemical equations by using the hit and trial method. The idea behind using this method is to adjust the coefficients of the reactants and products in the equation until the number of atoms of each element on both sides of the equation is equal. This method has two steps. In the first step, you make an initial guess for the coefficients of the reactants and products in the equation. In the second step, you check to see if the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the equation. If not, you adjust the coefficients accordingly, trying to get the number of atoms balanced. You may need to repeat this step several times, adjusting the coefficients of different molecules until you get a balanced equation. Let's take a look at an example of an unbalanced chemical equation. This equation represents the reaction between iron and oxygen to form iron oxide. But the equation is unbalanced because there are different number of atoms on the left and right hand sides. Think of balancing a chemical equation as balancing a scale. To balance the equation, we need to add coefficients to the reactants and products to ensure that the same number of atoms is on both sides of the equation. Let's start by balancing the iron atoms. We have one iron atom on the left hand side and two iron atoms on the right hand side. So we need to add a coefficient of 2 to the iron on the left hand side. Now let's balance the oxygen atoms. We have 2 oxygen atoms on the left hand side and 3 oxygen atoms on the right hand side. So we need to add a coefficient of 3 to the oxygen on the left hand side and 2 to ferric oxide on right hand side to make the number of oxygen atoms equal to 6 on both sides. Now we need to balance iron again. Iron can be balanced by adding coefficient 4 to iron on left hand side, which will make the number of iron atoms equal to 4 on each side. Now let's check that the equation is balanced by counting the atoms on both sides. We have 4 iron atoms and 6 oxygen atoms on each of the left and right hand sides. Therefore, the equation is balanced. Balancing chemical equations can be a bit tricky, but by practicing, you will get the hang of it in no time. Remember, when balancing chemical equations, always start by balancing the elements that appear only once on each side. Then balance the elements that appear more than once. Also, be sure to double check your work by counting the atoms on both sides of the equation to make sure they are equal. Thank you for watching this video on how to balance chemical equations. I hope this has been helpful to you in understanding this essential concept in chemistry. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel for more helpful science videos. See you in the next one.